as we begin this beautiful, beautiful Navaratri journey into the Yoginis. So usually most of us are aware that during the Navaratris I always invoke the Mahavidya sadhana, which is an intense exploration of the great knowledge sources of the Shakti. But this year somehow I was driven to do something lighter, something not so intense and involving. I guess it had to do a lot with all the work that we've been doing in the last 6 months. And we're all a little tired, aren't we? But it is time for the exuberance. Akshina, you're back online. Divya, Krita, so a warm welcome, and I think we will start. As I was saying, that usually we do the Mahavidya sadhana during Navaratris, but this time somehow the Yoginis called me very, very, very intensely. I just thought that I'll do these daily readings. I called upon the deck, one of my favorite decks that I shared yesterday in the live as well. You'll see a mirror image, but it's the Yogini Oracle. I've done many sadhanas with this. I've done a lot of study and work with these decks, and they always present themselves as a guiding, caressing, sometimes scolding, putting into place mother. So I thought, why not explore a lesser explored angle of Shakti, especially in our urban, dressing up is like, we're not used to this, but Navaratris call for this, right? So I did it. Anyway, it's warm. So I thought we would explore the not lesser known, but lesser indulged in aspect of Shakti, which is the Yoginis. Now, much like a lot of the Shakti texts, the Shakti path of spirituality, the Shakti scriptures and knowing, the knowledge, the Yogini knowledge or wisdom was also kind of pushed to the back burner, pushed under carpets and spoken about in very hushed tones. Because what happened is, as society shifted from a very matriarchal way of arrangement, an arrangement of things that was very matriarchal. Initially, when mankind started organizing itself into society, we were very matriarchal. And when I say matriarchal, I'm not talking in gender terms. I'm talking in terms of what is being more mother aligned means. It just means that you're more naturally aligned. You're more aligned to the sacredness of everything. We were more shamanic to an extent in those times, because the minute you are led by the Shakti essence of life, led by the Shakti of the self, of realization, then society arranges itself in a manner which is more conducive to life, not just accruement and gathering and hoarding or territory. It was more about an evolution of the life process. It was more about the tasting of the life process in its wholeness. So we were naturally then more aligned to nature. We were naturally then more aligned to seeing the sacredness and oneness of everything. So as society started moving away from this matriarchal to a more patriarchal, again not in the gender terms, but in the terms of more of assimilate, accumulate, ego, more of an establishment of the self over the others, not seeing yourself as part of one whole, but seeing yourselves as separate. These were more of the masculine tendencies, which took us away also from nature. And there's nothing right or wrong, I'm not one of those who will say, let go of the patriarchy and it's time for the maternal to return. Yes, it is, but both complete each other, right? Every aspect of manifest creation needs each other. They are linked. They are kadis. So kamzor kadi agar ek toot jaye, the entire arrangement of creation is done away with. So I will never say that, do away with patriarchy or return of maternal way of life, or the matriarchal system. But what is happening is we are noticing a shift in the collective of wanting to know what all this knowledge of the matriarchy was. So there's nothing right and wrong in either, and this too will play its Leela. This too will play its game, its drama. It comes in cycles. So there will always be, it's not like, why did this happen? There is no anger, or there is no my battery is going to go off, so let me put this on charge. Yes. So just as everything else comes in a wave, in a cycle, and goes away and then returns in a new avatar, in a new form, so too for the matriarchal system and the patriarchal systems to kind of play with each other, entwine, be one, and then separate, and one force above the other in cycles. So when we say we're returning more to the matriarchal system, there's more awareness of things like indigenous tribal spirituality, old wisdom, shamanism. These are all tuned to Mother Earth, and that makes them matriarchal. Being tuned to the creatrix, or the creative energy, the source from where we all come into what we dissolve. So that's all that is. When I say matriarchal and patriarchal systems, we are not trying to be gender biased or gender prejudiced. We are not trying to establish one over the other, but we are seeing how we can draw from both the sutras, the channels, or the flows of knowledge. Shiva and Shakti, how can they ever be separate, right? But as society started arranging itself into a more dominant masculine tendencies, these esoteric sciences were kind of pushed into a very controlled environment where everybody wasn't given access. Because if all of society became so evolved in a system where one sees oneself separate and one needs to establish dominance over the others, then how can you have an entire nation or an entire city or the entire world being so evolved and so arrived and attained in understanding that then there is no need for dominance, right? So as the dominating aspect of man came to be, you saw the tantras, you saw the yoginis, you saw the Shakti paths being pushed to very, very remote corners of understanding of the collective. So the yoginis became again part of that whole journey of tantra, which is seen as, oh, tantric, it's black, it's dark, it's not for everybody. But that's not so. That isn't so. I have said this time and again, and it's one of my key journeys to keep talking about how the tantra science has nothing to do with what we understand tantrikism to be. So when we are talking about the yoginis, we are not talking about magical spells and enchantments. We are not talking about sacrifices, or that all came in the medieval ages. The oldest, the first mentions of the yoginis. What are the yoginis? Okay, a little background. That the first mentions are in the works of, if you're aware of the Nath lineage of study of consciousness sciences, I will not even call it Shaivism or anything. It's just a path, a lineage, a heritage of the Nath scientists as they were really of life. So Matsyendranath, one of the gurus, one of the initial rishis or leaders or masters, spoke about the yoginis in his work. So the story about Matsyendranath is also very interesting. They're fantastic stories. So apparently they say that Matsyendranath, by some other name as a baby, was born into a very inauspicious horoscopic arrangement. So when the parents saw that, they cast their child into the sea, knowing that he will be shunned by society and he'll have a miserable life. So they decided to kind of return it to source. And they say a very huge fish swallowed Matsyendranath, known by some other name at that time. And this child survived. And in the waters of a Dvipa, Chandra Dvipa, the Isle of the Moon, this child was in the belly of the fish and apparently attained all knowledge. And when he emerged as Matsyendranath, the master, he had all the knowledge and he was helped by the energies of the Yoginis. And he chronicled them in the Kaula Jnana Nirnaya, his work. So I see that Isle of the Moon, the Chandra Dvipa, to be a state of transcendence, a state of yoga, a state of sadhana that this individual must have pursued, must have been in, to have downloaded a lot of knowledge. And as the aspects of Kriya, aspects of doing or manifest life came to him, downloaded into his systemic, into his understanding, he called them the Yoginis. Yog and Yogini. See the words. Okay, so Yoginis are not beings, funny, esoteric, scary sometimes beings, but they are just the energy vibrations that help us to unite our energies with the cosmic energy. So Yogini Shakti is, they say 64 Yoginis, various parts follow, some 68, some 62, some 32, some 31. So as and when the masters, the seekers, the visionaries, the wise ancients came upon energetic vibrations that balanced or aligned their journey to that which is beyond this physical, they gave them terminologies, they gave them names, and they personified them for the understanding of people like you and me. They gave them a form and body. So actually initially the Yoginis were not, there are ancient temples, centuries old, the remains that have been found, where the Yoginis are symbolized as symbols, okay? They're squares and triangles and circles, the first beginnings of yantras. So I would call the Yoginis actually the language of Shakti. So if Shakti is the whole, is that all existent meta, para and force of manifested life, of creation, the language it manifests in is the Yogini Shaktis. With that, I hope that's a little background. I tried to make it simple. If you have any questions, you're free to ask later or even now. This is not a meditation, so we can chat. So I did take the liberty of drawing the card in advance because I wanted to sit and meditate and then call upon the deck to reveal the card for the day. And as I pulled out the whole deck from the box, I finished drawing the card, and when I went to put the deck back into the box, there was one solitary card that had remained. So I pulled him out, I pulled it out, and it was Bhairava. Okay, he was sitting there quietly, as he always does. Bhairav always sits very quietly. Wherever there is Shakti, there is Bhairav. So in fact, all the consciousness science texts, the Tantra texts and sutras and Upanishads, the Vijnana Bhairav, the Tantra Lokas, they all in the form of agamas or conversations, verses and dialogues, where Devi or Shakti asks Bhairav or Shiva questions, and in his answers are revealed pathways, are revealed methodologies or technologies of inner mind, body, consciousness, wellness and well-being. But when it comes to the Yoginis, so the Yogini scriptures are all Bhairava asking of his Devi, and the Devi extolling her own effulgence, extolling her own radiance, talking about and describing and personifying her own being to Bhairav, reveals her truth, her secrets, her knowing and knowledge unto all of us, all of her creation. So they do this game, they feign ignorance, because unless uttered, unless we, even you and I, unless we utter that which is within, it doesn't become reality, right? It stays a vibration which may or may not be caught by others. Most times it's caught wrong if you don't vocalize what you're thinking, right? So this play of Shiva and Shakti, very, very often asking each other questions and making the other voice or vocalize the truths, the knowledge, the knowing, the wisdom, the vibrations, the songs, is so that they are unleashed upon creation. So and if that all knowledge contains all knowledge within itself and keeps vibrating, then the rest of creation would be in darkness, right? So that the secrets, the beautiful song and dance of the Yoginis is revealed upon her creation. Her Shiva asks and she answers. So Bhairava stands on one leg. He came out last, but I'm showing him first because wherever there is Shakti, Bhairava stands to protect. And there are so many stories. There are so many stories of whenever Shakti has been wronged, then Bhairava becomes Kala Bhairava, the consumer of time and space, and annihilates and reclaims her balance till she returns in another form. You know, that's the beauty of the Shiva Shakti Puranas, the Shiva Shakti journey, the Shiva Shakti story. That through time and through timeless time and space, this who is Shiva, who is Bhairava, who is Kala himself, through lifetimes and realms, through all the portals and transitions and shifts, has pursued one and only one Shakti in various forms, in various births. But birth after birth, she has sought return to him, and he has sought equally for her to return to his embrace. So Bhairava stands upon one leg as the axis that is unshaken. It's like, you know, a compass that you have a 360-degree view of knowledge, you have a 360-degree circumambulance of everything, and a parikrama of all knowledge, unmoving, unshaken. Bhairava must stand where Shakti resides. So with the protection, with the blessings, with the overseeing of the unshakable, unmovable Bhairava, we begin with the first card that I drew for today. And she is beautiful. She is exactly what this journey is about. So what emerged after my meditation when I drew the card is Leela Pada. Okay, we were talking about their Leela so much, and she emerged as Leela Pada. You see her in gay abandon, you see her in bliss, in absolute unshackled beingness, her completeness, drumming the cosmic drum. She is sounding out the sounds, the matrikas of all that will be language, the beginning of timelessness. She is sounding out all knowledge. So, I think somebody is asking me something. Does it mean rebirth is cause of imbalance of Shakti in human? I'm sorry, but you're hearing my roof daughter coughing outside. I hope it doesn't disturb you too much. She wants to come into the room. Mishtu? Rebirth is cause of imbalance of Shakti in human? No. In fact, rebirth is cause of seeking that balance again and again, again and again. And like we said, you know, everything is cyclic. Everything comes and goes repeatedly. So there is no beginning and end to the play of time and space and birth and rebirth of Shakti and Shiva, of us too, right? So the whole experiential journey begins with birth and rebirth, right? There's a whole lot of other equations that come into play: prarabdha, karma, karma, uh, lessons to be learned, choices we make, free will, so our sankalpas, then the play of the ancestral lineage, all that. That's a whole different topic, we can do in a separate session on that. But all that goes into birth and rebirth. But is rebirth the cause of imbalance per se? No. But in birthing in the human form, somehow creation has so programmed us that at the moment of human birth, we choose to forget that perfection. We choose to forget that what we come from. I meant in terms of form. I'm not very sure I understand your question, Smriti. Does it mean rebirth is cause of imbalance of Shakti in form? Now, in form, there is no imbalance. Form is, matter is. What we perceive as imbalance is because we see it in relationship to something that I perceive as balanced. So we don't really know what form holds balance and not. But I'm not very clear about what you're trying to ask. Maybe you can word it. But let's hold that thought and go to Leela. Okay, and I will read from the book itself and then we will discuss this. Okay. Sri Leela Pada, the joy. Sri Leela Pada is a graceful yogini. She is created out of bliss, by bliss, and for bliss. Sri Leela Pada represents spontaneous activity that are performed effortlessly. Her concept implies that her energy flows freely beyond compelling needs. She is divine playfulness. She is Leela after all. In the present oracle, she appears playing a drum for the mere pleasure of playing it. See, about sadhana, we say this so often, we discuss this so often, that be present in your sadhana, in your practice, whatever it may be. Be present in your life for the joy of the rasa of life, for the joy of the rasa of sadhana, for the joy of the rasa of that art or that act that you are engaged in at that time, not for the outcome that it should bring. That outcome is a natural process, it will come. She beats this drum in sheer abandonment and bliss in her whole presence. The matrikas and the language that emerges as a byproduct. She did not beat us because she had to give us the matrikas and sound and language. But that was a byproduct, a beautiful byproduct, right? At the same time, without searching for it, she creates the vibration which makes the cosmos expand. In that sense, she is the source of the relationship between the consciousness and intentionality. So our sankalpas and our higher or para, beyond physical consciousness, what we started out this conversation with is Yogini Shaktis are the Shaktis that bring a union between that physical aspect of our seeking and the cosmic aspect of what is sought. This card is an important step in the experiencing of the joy of life and the power of the vibration of thought. Sadhana. Before meditation, or instead of a silent meditation, listen to the sound of the drums for a few minutes, with eyes closed. Feel the vibration of the sound and be one with it. To conclude the sadhana, open your eyes and say the following. The vibration and the joy of the sound are now with me. May bliss be revealed to me from the field of all possibilities, that is the essence of all vibration. The yoginis are now with me, and I accept their energy flowing through me and guiding me and leading me to that vibration of the whole self that I am. So, how do we do this? Tuning into that nad, the prathama nad, the anahada nad, the non-sound or the unsound as I like to call it. There's a very simple, but it becomes very difficult when you see people you love in pain. Renu, what becomes difficult? To be present wholly when you see people you love in pain? Is that what you're asking? Yes, so that is the whole journey. That is what we spoke about, that the minute we are in human forms, we are also supposed to, we are designed to experience the whole gamut of emotions, the whole experiential aspects of every vibration that exists. So yes, we will feel pain. Yes, we will feel sadness. Yes, we will be empathic. We will share the journey of those around us, especially those who are in our immediate circle. Once consciousness expands, you will start feeling and drawing in the pain and problems and situations of an extended family, of a further extended family of your maybe nation or community, and then eventually the world, the planet, all beings and all cosmos. But along with that, do you not see, do you not notice, do you not remember, do you not stop to count all the wonderful experiences that you have chosen to experientially know in this life? So how can it be? How can you expect to have chosen a journey of this life and be only in bliss as we know it, defined bliss of the good things as we define in life? We have chosen to learn lessons. We have chosen this bodily life, this physical life, because we were not, my most favorite example is, it's like you're the child of a very good director or producer of the movie, and the movies. Father and mother make wonderful movies, and you watch these movies very often, and you love them. You love the dancing around trees, and you love the shine and the glitz and the clothes and the drama and the emotions and the love affairs and the bicharna and the milna and the song and dance. So very often you turn to mama and papa and you say, I want to act. So mom and dad tell you, beta, that's a tough industry, that's a tough place to be in. It demands a lot, it takes a lot, it's a conditional realm. You're fine here, back here, you just watch the movies and enjoy it. Why do you want to be in there? But then you want to taste it and you keep on at it and say, no, I want to go in there, I want to be on that side of the camera. And there, you are here, you're part of that industry of life then. And you're playing your part, you're playing, all the world's a stage has not been said, the bard didn't say it just for nothing. Because yes, we chose this stage because we didn't want to remain in a non-experiential zone anymore. So we wanted to taste every emotion. So yeah, it comes with conscious practice, it comes with conscious reminders to ourselves. See, none of us are masters who live in Turiya where nothing affects us. We get angry, we shed tears, we feel pain, we feel joy, we feel ecstasy, we feel passion, we feel anger, we feel love, we express it, we suppress it. So we are this whole bouquet of experiences. So as you expand your awareness of this aspect, then take a conscious effort, put in conscious effort in counting both the spectrums, what you term as the not nice and what you know as very nice. And remember, if you are given the capacity, if you have chosen, if you have chosen to experience the pain of others too, to embrace it within your heart space, to feel tears when you see your own or anybody else cry, to feel the pain or loss of another soul, that means you have been given the capacity to reach out and hold them, to reach out and heal them, to be there for them. So when you feel the pain of others, then take the focus off from I am feeling the pain, but that other who is me, a reflection of me, needs me to be strong right now because I understand to some extent. We can never really truly understand what another is going through, but I have been given then a taste of that, and which is why I understand, which is why I can be there for them. Try it. It's a little nuska. It works. It works. So in short, being human with experience of both, yes, of both, of everything. So it's not just one or two, this or that. It is all that is and not. So we're going to do a little practice, a short little practice of the Anahadanada, so that we can dance with Leela's Shakti today. Okay, a very, very beautiful way of drumming up her drum, drumming up her bliss, and see how much of joy. Renu, try this. I know you're a sponge when it comes to being an empath. You absorb so much. Writers are like that, and which is why you write so beautifully, is you feel so much, you soak in so much. And try this, because this will really help to lighten what you absorb. So tonight, when you sit down, or any time when you feel like feeling the bliss of Leela, when you want to hear the Naad of Leela, sit in a quiet space, arrive into the seating as we always do, and allowing the eyes to close. Just try this, okay? Is place your left hand upon your brow, okay? Pressing down slightly, allowing the eyes to close. Don't close your eyes as yet, to watch what I'm doing so you can follow. And then you place your right hand upon your chest, okay? Inhale into the chest, into the heart, and start beating a drum. Try it now. Your own beat will come through. Vibrations usually just fill you. So tapping techniques have come from here. What we did was basically tap out anything that is held, all the granthis, all the knots, all the entanglements that we've held in emotion. And we did this as like just a short taste of what you can do, but once you do this, you'll see that a tune, your mood of the day, the resonance that is needed for you to kind of balance your energies at that time will play itself out. It's your naad. My tone, my tune, my resonance, my vibe will be very different from yours. And sometimes maybe we'll do a Zoom session and do this together, because what emerges, the ensemble of sound, the vibration of sound that emerges from the Anahata sound done in a group, it's intoxicating. It is intoxicating, it's invigorating, it is so wholesome and nutritious to the soul. We should do that sometimes. So, with the Leela of Leela, I shall take your leave now, unless anybody wants to say something. Thank you, Smriti. Try this. It's very, very uplifting for the prana. And wishing all of us wonderful, wonderful 9 days and nights of dancing with Shakti, of exploring Shakti. Yes, would be great in a group. Let's do it. Maybe during the Navaratris itself. Let's do a session. I'll announce it soon. I'll also bring the drum to the session, and we can beat everything out of the heart, everything that is held. Release to the cosmos, release unto her, so that we return to the womb. In honor of she who has chosen to lead us, to guide us, who has chosen to return upon our consciousness. More through the next few days we will experience. We'll end with a prayer to her. To me, for I am she. In honor of the Shakti that all of you are. Thank you for blessing this journey today. Thank you for bringing your radiance. And in remembering Leela Pada, the gay abandonment, the first drumming of sound, readying us for what is to come in the next few days. Sarva Mangala Mangale Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute Jaya Narayani Namostute. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. Love and light to all my beautiful, beautiful co-travelers, my teachers. Thank you, and see you tomorrow, 4 o'clock, with the next chapter of the Yoginis, unveiling themselves, revealing themselves to us. Shivasti. Thank you, darling. How can I leave without a kiss? This makes you feel so much love, when you do this. Your heart just expands with all that beating. I think we burst open the heart, and for a while, as long as that resonance lasts, you feel this love for all creation, for all of the universes, and you just want to hold everything in your heart and nurture it then. Holding that thought, holding that emotion. Till tomorrow. Shivasti.